And if you would come up to the podium here, state your name and where you're from, and we'll start out with Shane Ozbun, followed by Becky Lemler.
Good morning, County Commissioners. My name is Shane Ozbun. I'm from Eugene. I would like to start off by thanking the Board of Commissioners for its quick response in drafting a letter to our senators to encourage stronger action on the 2014 NDAA. Amendments in regard to the 2012 sections 1021 and 1022. In reading the draft letter, it clearly recognizes that the current amendments fall short of prohibiting U.S. citizens from detention under these sections. The last section of the draft letter does raise a bit of concern for us. The proposed amendment in H.R. 1960 does seem to provide a bit more transparency and oversight by Congress into the detentions carried out under these sections. Although this power would be somewhat beneficial, it doesn't support the absolute repeal of the unconstitutional provisions of that 2012 NDAA. The amendment seems to actually further codify the unconstitutional detention powers of the executive branch. We would prefer that the letter end with a little bit more of a stronger request. And we believe that there is no reason to play soft when asking for the repeal of these sections, which are clearly repugnant to the Constitution. Senate delegates should also be reminded of their sworn oath to protect and defend the Constitution and the Constitution of their state. We also think it's critical to continue working at a local level on an effective resolution that assures the rights of the people in Lane County. Two of the newer groups that have signed on to oppose the sections 1021 and 1022 of the 2012 NDA is the Lane County Democratic Party and the Lane County Republican Party, making now the number of 8 groups that are taking part in this action in Lane County and opposing these sections. We believe that continuing forward on a more formal resolution with some solid dates would really help us coordinate this effort with these groups better. Please let us know how we can help in any way, and really we appreciate your time and efforts on this issue and all the services you provide to your constituents. Thank you.
Thank you. Becky Lemler, followed by Jim Evanuk.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Becky Lemler from Elmira. Thank you for working swiftly on composing a letter to our federal representatives in voicing your opposition to the NDAA sections 1021 and 1022. Terms which are used in this act are open and ambiguous to interpretation and are not defined as to their specific or exact meanings. Because of this, it is clear that these laws could be used against American citizens to keep them imprisoned for an undetermined amount of time and or to be transferred outside of American borders to be dealt with in any manner they choose. This past Thursday, the Lane County Republican Party Central Committee voted unanimously in favor of adopting a resolution standing in opposition to the provision in the National Defense Authorization Act for Fiscal Year 2012, which authorizes military detention and trial of U.S. citizens and lawful residents in direct violation of the United States Constitution, the Oregon Constitution, and Bill of Rights. Many groups on both sides of the political spectrum are coming together in opposition to these provisions, which can remove all due process to American citizens. In this resolution, the Republican Party of Lane County supports the Board of Commissioners to insist their legislator and governor do all within their power to repeal the aforementioned sections and to enact laws prohibiting any agent of the United States government, including all military branches, from arresting any person within the state under the sections of 1021 or 1022 of the NDAA. The resolution also supports the Board of Commissioners to urge the sheriff of this county to develop and implement a policy consistent with this resolution, and in pursuant to his oath of office to defend the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of this state, and the citizens of this county. I would like to thank you again, Commissioners, for taking swift action on this matter and ask that you send a strong letter in opposition regarding the sections of the NDAA to Senators Wyden and Merkley and Governor Kitzhaber. And now, if I could, I'd like to hand out to you the resolutions.
Please. Thank you so much. And, you know, I had a strange experience. Most people know that I'm a graduate of the University of Maryland, College Park. And, you know, this past week we had a basketball game between, you know, the Oregon State and the University of Maryland. And, you know, who do I root for? You know, my alumni, you know, the college I'm the alumni of, or you know, here. And I found myself rooting for the Beavers because, you know, Oregon's where I am now, Maryland's my past, this is my future. And it put me in a kind of strange place because I was there rooting for the Beavers alongside of the president in a very bipartisan way. And you know, it's interesting, we've had a lot of testimony about the NDAA letter this morning, and that's a very similar situation. There's some things that we can just decide that we're going to be together on and work together on, and I appreciate Commissioner Sorensen's you know, efforts in this and working together with him and being able to vote together on this. And I look forward to our brief discussion about that. Now that we pulled that off the agenda, I'll save my comments about the body of the letter and the strength of it and what I feel is in the center of the letter, maybe not necessarily in the last sentences. But it is really good to be able to work together on stuff like that, whether I'm, you know, to find where we do have common interest and doesn't violate our principles and decide we can work together is the way we move things forward for Lane County, the state of Oregon, and our country. Whether it's, you know, cheering for the Beavers, except for when they play the Ducks, or, you know, trying to protect our constitutional rights, or something as simple as trying to cite a state hospital and working with Representative Hoyle on that here in Lane County. So, you know, that's an important thing, is we should always recognize where we can work together. I've heard Senator Wyden speak on the same thing, working across the aisle where you don't violate your principles and trying to advance things. And I think this NDAA issue matches that, you know, where we can all agree that you know, we want to protect our constitutional rights. It doesn't violate our principles to work together. And I think this is a great example, and I think you'll probably see a unanimous vote moving forward on this, as there was unanimous agreement to write this letter. So I'm looking forward to that.
One day, somebody's going to have to say enough.